Hello, everyone. My name is Catherine Ferreira. I am the host and owner of Gem and Me. I want to take the time today to introduce myself. Who am I? I'm a young, proud, first-generation Latina, born and raised in Washington Heights. I have excelled in my life with adversity, hope, belief, motivation, and most importantly, the power in me. And I believe everybody has their own power inside themselves. And I want to share this platform with you to be able to explore and dig very deep inside of you to find the blessings, the gifts that you were given to become the best version of yourself. So thank you so much for joining today to the Gem and Me podcast. I hope to give you blessings, aha moments, many gifts really that you have within yourself to be able to unfold and find those within you. Thank you for listening today and welcome to Gem to Me. The power is within you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for being here today. Gem and Me here. Today we have a friend, Brandon Cancio. He is a leader, an inspiration, really. Ever since we met, it was brief, but then it was we connected right away, and I felt so inspired by your energy, by what you're doing. So thank you so much for being here today. Give us a little summary of who is Brandon.
Cool. Thank you so much, Catherine, for bringing me on. My name is Brandon Cancio, born and raised in I call it the United States' most smallest town called Guttenberg, New Jersey. Ecuadorian mom, Cuban father, born and raised here. And yeah, I run an online business selling daily essential products. And I've been doing that for like the past 7.5 years, almost 8 years now.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. I didn't know it was that long. So
Long
far
time.
I can see then that you have really grown and built something for yourself. So I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been a long lasting roller coaster, but it's worth every single turn. It's like the best therapy I've ever had in my life, so for sure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here. And as a speaker, I'm going to ask you some questions, and I hope that you're comfortable asking them. If you're not, then obviously, we can pivot, but it's not that crazy, all right? You're gonna be
Yeah,
fine. Don't be scared.
that's it. I'm ready for you to ask me what's your
So
social
one
security
of the
number,
questions that
what's your
I
credit card number. Yeah, I got it. I knew this was a setup. I'm joking.
One of the questions I wanted to ask you, because I feel like from my experience, my childhood really marks and formed obviously who we are and how we project ourselves in our relationships, in our career, the way that we are. So I wanted to ask you, how was your childhood?
Wow, we're starting off pretty.
From the start.
Yeah. I was expecting you to be like, "What's your favorite cup of coffee?" Like, "What's the favorite bean?" But no, my childhood was very, very interesting. Being born and raised, my dad was first generation American, so meaning he was already born here by the time he got here. He was born and raised in 173rd in Saint Nick over in Washington Heights. And my mom actually came from Ecuador with, I believe, either a travel visa or an education visa. So I had a very different background. My dad knew full on English, a little bit of Spanish, but understood everything. My mom didn't know a lick of English. And the way the story has been told to me is that my mom and dad both met in the city at a club. Apparently, it was Studio 54. I could be wrong, but let's just say the story ends there. And then next thing you know, it gets skipped to me being born. And my mom and dad's relationship was always 50-50, being the fact that she come from Ecuador but wasn't really supposed to stay here. And my mom and dad basically, after 3 to 4 years of me being born, they decided to split for very healthy reasons. I've never had an issue. I saw my dad every single weekend, if he had the chance, but he rarely skipped it. But the one thing I could accredit my life to is just when my dad would pick me up, he had an electrical business. So he would be doing electricity for every from businesses to residential properties. And on Saturdays and Sundays, I would see my dad hustle and work and network, pass out business cards. And so growing up, I've always had that hustle spirit because my dad was always like the leader of that example. My mom never spoke bad about my father. Thank God. I always hear when parents do split, it's sometimes not an unhealthy thing. So I've never seen my dad as a villain. I've always seen my dad as a hero. My mom never really like edified him, like, oh my God, this guy's the best man, because then they would continue the marriage. But he did say, like, you can learn a lot from your father, like respect your father. Me and him might have not worked out, but like never felt any tension, any vibes there. Um, so my childhood was just great. My mom raised me literally from Monday through Friday, and then half of Friday all the way to Sunday. My dad would raise me, so I never really had a strong man in the house 24/7. But it's also a very Spanish thing to do, right? Where most people have kids, but their marriage isn't really settled in as hard as it should be, like most people when they have kids. So I've just always been around that hustle spirit. My dad never substituted luck for anything. He worked hard for everything he had, and I got a chance to see that on the front end of things, and I'm very very grateful for that. But from like 0 to like 13 years old, 14 years old, that was basically my childhood. Was my mom being a stay home. I don't know how she made money, but she made money. Nothing illegal. But she's always found a way to make the money and support me. I'm her only son, so she's taken good care of me. I was the only person she had to take care of. So my mom raised me very very well. I thank God every day for her. And my dad raised me the way he needed to raise me. But yeah, that was my childhood from like 0 to like 12 or even 13 years old. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that. That's nice. I'm happy that, my parents split too, but like you said, everybody's experience is different, but I'm happy that they were able to coexist and you had a good experience.
100%.
That's great. All right. Thank you for sharing that. And what would you say? I know your dad looks like he was an entrepreneur and that's where you got your drive from, and that's very good to see. And it was a very good example for you. But what would you say are lessons that you have learned from each of them that you use now?
My mom is a organization freak. In the world of business that I'm in, we call her a melancholy choleric. And melancholy are people who love organization. They cannot work without it. And so I learned how efficient my life could be if I took 30 seconds out of my day to make something organized, meaning my schedule, meaning my bed, meaning how I take a shower, from everything from waking up to getting back into bed. My mom really taught me what it meant to be clean and very, very organized. Because I remember there were things that I do in a rush. And to this day, like I can hear my mom's voice kind of like slap me around, like, hey, by the way, like slow down a little bit, sit down and like write down what you're about to do so that it makes sense. Like just proper preparedness, right? That's what really my mom honed it down into me. And choleric, which is it's a personality type where you just like control overall, not in an unhealthy way either. It could be unhealthy and it could be a good way. But my mom was very neutral in a sense where she just wanted control of my schedule. So like I had curfews growing up, and I'm not saying they were bad, but my mom would always be like, what do you have to do after 9:30 p.m.?" And I remember like after 9:30 was like adventure time because you're like, my mom doesn't know what I'm doing at this time. So I learned how to just stay very organized and become very dependent now, right? Like for example, whenever you meet somebody, whenever you go out of your house, make sure you're not in your pajamas, right? Even if you have to pick up the mail and the mailbox is like a mile or oh, it's weird, but like a 30 square feet away, just dress up a little bit, look good, because your first impression means a lot. And it was just those little things growing up that my mom really, really taught me. My dad, I would say, taught me probably like 60% of my life. I was just asked this question like a month ago. Who is your biggest superhero? I would always say my dad. My dad has played that part. I guess as a man to a man, that's what a superhero would look like. I would think as a woman to a woman, you would want your mom to be your superwoman, superhero, if that calls it. But my dad taught me everything about scaling, networking, building a business, being a man's man. Like my dad really taught me one thing, which was, people before profits. And because my dad's business was not nothing crazy, right? He was just doing electrical work for a bunch of people. And there's many opportunities where he could have taken more money. There's many opportunities where he could have taken and done some like bad habitual things, right? And my dad always looked at the person before he looked at people. I've seen him lose quote unquote money on the front end, just to be in the right, just to make sure that the customer feels great. And so growing up and seeing that, my dad just taught me how to be a good human being, I think is what I would probably say. Because I don't want to say my dad taught me how to be a great businessman, but it's funny enough. He taught me that in order to be a good businessman, you have to be a good person. And the whole neighborhood knew my dad. They loved my dad. Anytime we would go into a restaurant, I mean, I wish my dad would be on, right? He would never take us to the same spot more than twice because he's always networking. He was always passing out business cards. He was always like, we'll go to the same place twice when if it's like we need to. But overall, growing up in like the Union City, Guttenberg, North Bergen area, my dad just taught me everything about being a good person first. And it's funny that I just asking me this question, looking back at it now, I never knew that being a good person actually led into being a great business person, especially if you want to be in business long term, not short term. Yeah, great question. Jesus Christ.
Oh, wow. Thank you for sharing that. It's very good, that you speak about your parents in that way. And it gives me joy because, like I said, everybody's childhood is different. And that really shows, right, in the way that you put yourself out there, the way that you are. So I'm very happy you had an amazing childhood. Um, the next question, I would say, what is your purpose in life?
Jesus Christ, this is like a life changing right now.
Deep
Um,
stuff.
I don't want to sound like arrogant, but even though I've been in business for 7.5 years, um, I would confidently say I haven't found my purpose until it was it like maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, probably like right in the midst of COVID awakening everybody up and sitting down multiple times with my mentors, business partners, and just trying to figure that out because I'm being so serious. I was going 5, 6 years just building a business, generating sales, generating partners in business, franchising without no purpose. But purpose is very important, and I believe, and I hope it doesn't change. My purpose on planet Earth is to help another fellow human being, both male, female, and if I can be very specific with you, my goal is just to help people make money. It's very interesting to me that I just love what I do. I sell everything from soap to cleaning products, and for me, I just love taking skill sets that people don't have or don't have access to, and just giving them access to it. So I want to help. For me, my next goal in the next 10 years is to help roughly around 50 people generate 100 grand a month in their businesses without charging them anything, right? That's like why give them kind of like the best gift you can give them is not money. It's like a gift on how to make it. So for
Right.
me, that's like my purpose is just to generally look at a man or woman in the eye, a couple, and just be like, look, I'm here to help you. Because like a big thing, I haven't removed it from my Instagram bio, but the biggest proverb that I don't know, since I was like 13, 14 years old, I fell in love with, which is Proverbs 27:17, which is iron sharpens iron as people sharpen people. Because I believe if you take all the money in the world and put it to the side, the only thing you really have is experience and time that you've been on this earth, like outside of money. So for me, purpose would be to help other people that want to generate a business, that want to generate income, that want to generate, learn, take people who've never started a business and teach them how to scale and learn those avenues. If I can be specific, but if it's a generic purpose, I would say it's to help people in a specific area of their life involving growing their income. Because I do know that if we help a certain amount of people for free, I'm not charging anything. You can ask Chantiel. I feel like the more people that become self-efficient and that become like an entrepreneur, because entrepreneurship is not for everybody, but for the people who do decide to take that path, I feel like we would make such a bigger change on earth. But I believe you got to do that home by home. You got to do that people by people, but that would be my purpose, to change and impact people, old, young, to generating a business, becoming entrepreneurs and helping them along that path without charging anything. Because I've been there for sure.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. And shout out to Chanti, by the way.
Yeah. Amen.
Um, Yeah, I'm very grateful for you guys, taking her under your wing because I know that she wants to be an entrepreneur and that's what her goal is. But you want to be an entrepreneur, but you don't have like the model or you don't know how to do it. So it's like everybody
Yeah,
who starts off that doesn't know what to do. But if you have somebody next to you that knows what to do, then it's easier because they can mentor you and guide you and doesn't take, you know, not even near all the effort or failures, right, that it took
yeah.
you, let's say, if you don't have somebody, right? But yeah, thank you so much for that answer. And so I'm really, I see the passion, right, that you have towards, helping others, making money. And how did you find out, like, you're like, okay, this is because before you were making sales and it was kind of natural to you, or you just did it like to make money, let's say, right?
Yeah.
But how did you find out like, okay, this is my purpose?
I didn't have a college experience. I only had high school. For most of the people who know my story, I when you turn 14, and Karen, please don't be afraid to interrupt. When you turn 14, 15 years old, there's these things called working papers that you get in high school. Do you remember that time at all? I know it was a long
Yes,
time
I
ago.
started early.
Yeah.
Actually, I got like, yeah, 14. I think 14 is the youngest
Yeah.
that you
Like
can work. I think, yeah.
all I remember, it was like freshman year of high school. So I think it was like 14, 15 years old. And I remember this pinnacle moment where every one of my friends got working papers because you had to go to your guidance counselor, you had to sign it, your parents had to sign it, and I
Yes.
think you're either your ship supervisor
You're
or like
like
a
blue or
boss,
green.
something like that. Yeah. And like you couldn't work more than like 20 hours a week. And I'm like, you know what? Like, I want to work because it's like I see my dad working. I don't want to be an electrician. He knew that already. I just loved what my dad was doing as a person. And I was like, you know what? Let me get working papers. And I remember the day I went into my guidance counselor, got the paper, I signed it, and they're like, okay, great. When you get a job, your dad slash mom or your guardian has to sign that, plus the boss, and you have to bring it back to us so that they know your school is not going to be affected. So I bring the piece of paper back to my dad, my freshman year of high school. And my dad looks at it and goes, working papers, huh? I go, yeah. It's like, looking to become a man, aren't you?
Yes.
And it and he goes, I'm like, looking to be a man? I just want to make money. He goes, well, he takes the paper, he puts it down, he sits me down and goes, why do you want to work? I looked at him for like 2 minutes blank because I'm like, all my friends, I literally told him all my friends were doing it. I go, okay, so outside of that, why else do you want to work? Because all my friends are applying for Pizza Hut, Walmart, Target, Dunkin' Donuts, Burger King, like for any jobs that can pick them up for the hours that they need, right? And I was just like, well, a job makes me money, so I'll do it for them. He goes, okay, great. What do you need the money for? This is at 14, 15 years old. He's like, what do you need the money for? And I'm just like, take those out to eat, buy myself shoes so I don't have to ask you for money anymore. Like, I don't, nothing. He's like, well, do you have any bills at all, like that you need to pay or you'll die? I'm like, well, no, but you cover my cell phone bill. I don't have to pay any rent, which I knew what rent was at the time because we were like switching apartments. I don't have a car. I was like, you know what? I'll save it for a car. Okay, so you're gonna save it for a car, like anything that you need. Like, if you don't have the money, like someone's gonna like have to like help you with this. I go, 14. I'm like, no. And he goes, well, I'm gonna start giving you a cell phone bill next year. And I'm like, oh shoot, I set myself up for that one. But my dad really woke me up and was just like, well, if you're not in a rush, if you have no bills, why don't you just jump into entrepreneurship? Like, just start a business. And my dad was the typical Cuban guy that believed in this whole lemonade stand thing, which I get the concept. I just didn't, being born in like a city area, you don't open up a lemonade stand in the corner. That's very like, I'm not gonna say the skin type, very suburban. And but my dad did go on Google right in front of me. And this was a time where you couldn't share articles, you had to print them. And my dad printed out an art, 3, 4, 5 pages. It was called, I don't know if it's still there anymore. I think it was either on Forbes or like Men's Health. It was very weird. It was a thousand ways to make $500 as a young person. And from that point on, my dad gave me these articles and was like, look, there's 1,000 ideas here. You don't need all 1,000. You just need one. But do something for yourself. Like, you don't have to work. Like, he's like, I'll sign this if you really want me to sign it, but take a month out and really figure out like you can do stuff on your own. And I thank God every day my dad pushed me. He's like, if he was right here, he would tell you lemonade stand and throwing parties. Those were like the two business ideas he was just because he wanted me to go out there. He wanted me to get people's numbers, to shake hands. And long story short, after reading all the articles, I picked up throwing parties, reselling shoes, specifically Jordans, because Adidas or Pumas, they weren't big at that time. And the third one, which was like the biggest one I had, which JP has many, many stories about. This one was having my own little bodega inside the school. So I would be the person that brings in the Snickers, the fruit snacks, the chips. I used to bring in like special brownies. I mean, you name it, legal brownies, of course, to school, you know? And for me, like I wasn't making like a $2,000 a week or $2,000 a month, but I was making like $500-700 a month. And every day I woke up with purpose, very similar to what you mentioned. And that's what changed the direction of my whole life. Because I
Wow.
remember waking up and all my friends going, "Oh man, I gotta pick up my shift today. I gotta go to work today. I gotta go here, I gotta go there, I gotta." And I'm just like, dude, you're working. You should be like very, very excited that you're going out there and you're gonna pull in a shift. Because I was like, I'm so naive. I didn't know what that meant, like working 5 hours,
Right.
standing your whole life. And for me, I was the opposite. Like every day I woke up, I'm like, I got a party to either go to or to throw on Friday. I got to go to BJ's or Costco to pick up my snacks and all these fancy things. And I got to also go on these websites to figure out which Foot Locker is going to contain the Jordans that I need and who's going to help me out by bringing a knife. Because at that time, if you stood in line for a good pair of shoes, you needed a weapon on you because someone was gonna. Imagine you have 5 boxes
Yeah.
of shoes. You're gonna need something. I never carried a gun, but a knife definitely. But from freshman year, sophomore year, junior year, senior year, I just fell in love with business. I feel like that played such a big part of my life because entrepreneurship was like the first taste I got. And of course, I had jobs in between. There was times where jobs were being offered to me, and I took them in a heartbeat. Um, but overall, that's what changed the direction I would say of the life of Brent. Again, dad being the hero, but also jumping into like that entrepreneurship route at a very early age. I don't even remember the question, but I hope that might have
Wow.
answered
That's
it.
amazing. No, I loved it. I loved it. Okay. So the passion was like the question was about passion, right? Like your passions and like how
Aha.
did you kind of find your purpose, right? I think that's what the question was. Yeah, and then we started
Yeah,
from like the
I was super
beginning when you
passionate
said, there
about
you
like
go.
being on my own.
I even
Yeah,
lost the
I
question.
was super passionate.
The story was so
Being
good, we lost
passionate
the
was started off
question.
a young age. Amen.
That's
Amen.
amazing. Oh wow. So you were blessed. That's definitely a blessing, that
100%.
your dad, influenced you so young. And that's it. You didn't need anything
Yeah.
else. Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Your hugs.
he basically fueled it. He fueled it from the very beginning. Again, I could have been that teenager that was like, business. No, I'm gonna go work at McDonald's, which nothing wrong at working at McDonald's. But I do remember just being at a young age, like, you know what? My dad makes money. He wasn't rich or poor. He was like right in the middle. I was like, I can learn something from this. Let me just do it. There's no harm, no foul, you know.
That's awesome. Thank you. My next question is, what would you say to your younger self?
Feel like with this whole New Year's, I should have an answer right away. But if I was 15, 14, 15 years old, the two things I would probably recommend to my younger self is do not rush anything, even if it's your relationship with God, even if it's a relationship with another woman, or if you're a woman listening to this, another man, or just don't rush anything. Like I remember being 17 years, like this is a big pinnacle. I remember being 18 years old, no, 17 years old. I remember these little tests called the SATs were coming out. And I remember I woke up late. You can ask JP and Leslie. I woke up, oh, not Leslie. You can ask JP. I woke up late because I didn't really care about the SATs. And I remember like I felt like rock freaking bottom. I'm 17, 18 years old. Like looking back at it now, I remember not being able to sleep going, wow, I'm a failure. Because all my friends are bragging about, where are you applying to? What colleges are you going to? What college is this? What college is that? Or even worse, after graduating high school, Instagram was popping, Snapchat was even more popping, Twitter was still popping. I mean, everyone was posting like their little I got accepted to Rutgers, William Patterson, Berkeley, and I'm over here didn't even take the SATs. Like rock bottom. Mind you, I'm 18 years old thinking I hit rock bottom. So I think the biggest thing I would have told my younger self is relax and
Mm-hmm.
don't rush it. Do not rush it because experience isn't taught overnight. Experience is taught along the path. It's like, how do I know how to sell? Well, I've been on the phone more than 10,000 times. I've shooken hands over 10,000 times. So like, don't rush anything. There's no need for it. I feel like people get really, really in trouble when they rush into something they're not prepared for. And in reality, you could have done the same thing, but just not take your time, because I don't believe in that either. But I
Mm-hmm.
believe in just not rushing it in a negative way. There's a process for success. There's a process for anything you want to accomplish for a reason. Things don't happen overnight. So I would have told my younger self, like, don't rush it. Like, hit the books. Like, don't be afraid. Don't compare yourself to others. Because I was legitimately 18 years old, concerned that I was going to be a failure. Mind you, I'm 25 right now, turning 26 very soon. It's that thought was almost 10 years ago. I can't imagine even saying that. I feel freaking
Wow.
old now, but
You're not
it,
that old.
yeah, not that old, not that
I'm
old.
older than you.
There it is. I'm a 97 kid. What year are you born? And
95.
you're right there. You're 20. Yeah, I'm not gonna say your age out loud,
I'm
but
closer to 30, so
yeah, 30 is a magic number. 30 is not a bad number.
yes, I told my friend she just turned 30. I was like, did it hurt?
Yeah, did it hurt?
I don't
It
know. It's
probably
like
did
a
though.
fear,
It
like, oh
probably
my
did.
God, I'm turning like time flew. Like where are we going? Like I'm
Yeah,
almost 30. Like what's happening?
exactly.
I
Why
was like
rush anything?
17
30
like
years
the other
old.
day.
I feel like for a man, what's funny is that a man's eight. For me, that doesn't scare me. Time kind of scares me, but 40 is I think our number. If most men are listening to this, they're probably like 30 is not a 30 is actually a pretty good number. 40 is kind of like, I hope my life is good right now. I hope I'm driving the car I want to drive and living in the house
Yeah,
and
the
having the
pressure is
income.
on though. It is. It really is
Yeah,
because you had, like when you're 17, you have this expectancy of like, oh, I'm gonna have this, I'm gonna have that. I'm not saying that I haven't accomplished like what I wanted to accomplish. I've accomplished a lot,
yeah,
but there's also other pressures like you have to have your shit together and other things in your business and be
yeah.
financially free. And it's just I feel like the bar has, always risen to like be more pressure,
I
especially
think
for
that shows
women,
you've
right?
grown too, right? Like, that shows you've definitely grown as even a human being. That the bar keeps getting a little bit higher every time.
Especially for women, I feel like we have so much other roles and things that we're accomplishing now. So it's so much other,
So let
yeah.
me ask you that question. I know it's really, really big right now. I'm barely on Instagram. Like, I have it deleted for the most part, and I just go on it on my desktops. But I've noticed a trend where now there's a lot of like Instagram reels or like posts on Instagram where
Hmm.
it's like, man is a man and a woman's a woman, and this is what a woman's supposed to do. Like, what are your thoughts on this like culture shift that like young kids are talking about, what it takes to be a woman and what it takes to be a man? Like, not the roles. I'm not here to speak about whole gender stuff, but I'm just
Hmm.
saying in general, what are your thoughts on like that conversation even starting?
Yeah, for me, I feel like it has changed a lot, because growing up, you have this expectancy of like, oh, you're supposed to do this, you're supposed to do that. You know, I mean, you know a little bit of my story, but I grew up with a single mom, right? She was always working. So I was like the second mom to Chanti, right? So I had kind of had that mom role to her. And I also kind of had the mom role for myself because I was very independent. My mom was kind of never there. So I was like independent, okay. And then you kind of like have to like fill in, right? So your mom role, you kind of take on different responsibilities that you're not supposed to because you kind of feel like you should or you have to. Um, and that goes back to like speaking about childhood, right? It marks who you are.
Yeah.
And so I have the mom in me. I'm not a mom yet, but I have the mom in me, and that also I feel like I overcompensate or try to be a mom for others where I shouldn't be because
Like
I have
strangers.
not strangers, but like, I don't know, friends or family members, just like,
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know if just certain like relationships that you feel like, oh, like you're kind of filling that gap for them because like
Interesting.
you didn't have that, so you kind of compensate it also, and they like it, and then you kind of create this relationship where like you're like a mom figure for them.
Yeah,
And you're like, wait, like why am I taking this role? Like this is too much for me, like, and then in the long term, you're like, like I shouldn't do that because the other person kind of relies too much on you and maybe like is not good for them because they don't grow or they don't
yeah,
like they're not independent. So it could go very deep, but I'm sorry, I'm like shifting from the question.
sure.
But I would say yeah. So like obviously, as Latinas, we all like have it in us, right? So we cook, we clean, we're a mother, we're a daughter, we're everything, we're entrepreneurs, right? Um, we do it all. And that's what I was talking about. Like now we have so much pressure. Like we're moms, we're businesswomen. We're always doing everything basically now. Before, like in my grandma's time, it was just like you'll stay home and cook and clean. And I couldn't do that, right? Like even if it was now, like the time where you just stay
Yeah,
home. I don't see myself doing that. Like even if I had a quote unquote person who would like provide for me, like I couldn't just stay home and be like, okay, yeah, you got it. Like, no, like that's not me. But it's just like me, my mom was always working, like I mentioned, right? So my grandma also worked. She was, I would say, a single mother too. She had partners, but it's not the same. It's not like a formal household where you have
like
like,
that.
you know, the whole. So I feel like it comes also in generations. What you see your mom going through, you kind of mirror that to a sense, and that's when you have to like break that generational cycle or trauma, right? Depending on what the
Yeah,
situation is. And so I feel like my journey and part of Gem and Me has also been like breaking those cycles of expectations, of traumas, of limitations, right?
yeah,
Because your family, your friends, they expect certain things from you sometimes that you don't have it within you. Or if you are not present for yourself, like how could others expect you to be there for them? Right.
loud and
And then
clear.
those are
You're speaking
expectations.
like an older sister. Like that's the crazy part. You're speaking like an older sister, like because you didn't have, if I'm not mistaken, you didn't have an older sister. You were the older sister.
Yeah, I'm the oldest sister. Yeah.
You know that plays a big part. That plays a big part.
Yeah. The older sister, the mom, well, everything. I'm everything. My whole family calls me for like my dad calls me for everything. My mom calls me for everything. Chanti calls me
Yeah,
for everything. So it's like, yeah.
yeah. So who do you call? Knowing that everyone calls you, who do you call?
Nobody. I call myself.
This is a tough
I
question.
depend on myself. The
Call
gem in
yourself.
me,
Yeah,
the part within me, I use
yeah.
it.
No, I'm with you there because like a
Yeah.
lot of people, I got asked that one time. It's like, Brandon, like I know you're self-efficient, you're very on top of yourself, but like when I need help, I call you. Very similar to your story. Who do you call? And I'm like, I call. I have like two people I can call. Like, but it's very hard to add a third one. But I have like two people that I personally. I'm always interested in knowing who other people call.
No, yeah. I mean, it depends what it is, right? Like if it's like a chore or something, right? But like
Yeah,
when you like need like, I don't know, advice like for your business or like, I don't know, personal stuff or things that you don't talk to your mom about. So it depends where
basically.
what you're looking for. But it is, I mean, I do have friends, but again, like if they don't have business, I can't go to them for business advice, right? So, it depends who you
Yeah,
go. Yeah.
absolutely.
What are you talking about? But yeah. Do you have any other questions for me?
No, I think that like for me, the first time I met you, that's the vibe I got. Like, oh, she's very like it's not just because like some women are very protective, and that's okay. That's like a natural source. But like you protect and nurture, which a lot of women miss that second part, right? Because you can protect the whole world. It's easy to grab a shotgun and be I'm Mrs. Scary, like don't get near anybody, like you're not gonna get in this house. But like with you, it's kind of like if I do let you in, like I'm taking care of you. It could be the Dominican version of yourself too, right? Because like going to DR, Dominicans are like very like some of them
Some of them, yeah.
are very nurturing, but like Do you ever tired being Katarin, or not tired because it's like no, I'm me all the time. But do you ever get like, I think tired is the right word. Do you ever get like, oh man, I'm doing too much right now. Like, let me just ease it down, or does it naturally just your protection and nurturing does it happen naturally?
Yeah, so like I said, sometimes it is difficult to continue nurturing when your cup is not full. And I say that in many capacities, right? When people are constantly, oh, Catherine, you could do this for me, you could do that for me, and like everybody expects, but like who do you go to, right? Like you just ask. So
To
I'm
get
like,
your cup
okay,
full.
like I'm done. Yeah. Like
Yeah,
déjame tranquila, I don't want to do shit, like leave me
yeah.
alone, and it gets draining. It really does. Um, so I would say yes, I do get tired, but it's like, okay, I have a break. But I end up doing it for them anyways, which is
I had a,
horrible.
I had a strong
It's like,
feeling.
oh, like I'm tired. Like my dad is calling me to call United to buy whatever, right? And it's like, oh my God, okay, I still have to do it for him. So
Yeah.
I still do it. But yeah, I do get emotionally drained sometimes because of that expectations, right? Of our parents, of society, right? Our roles in at work or career and anything, right?
Yeah.
So it does get tiring. But yeah, I just keep pushing. I do it even though I don't want to. Um, and I feel like that's life. Like you just have to do stuff even though you don't feel like it. So
Yeah.
yeah, you
I
just
love
have to
that.
find the power. And I
Amen.
try, like, even like we have good days, bad days, right? Like we don't always feel, and that's something I wanted to ask you actually, one of our questions, because I feel like you always have that drive and that like energy. Like how do you keep up with that energy?
I probably can bet that I wake up the most ugliest out of all people on planet Earth. And when I wake up, it's to me like I'm staring at the wall for like 20 minutes. I don't want to get up, but what contains energy for me, again, this might be a man's perspective, but I do believe men are the same way in this aspect. Um, I have people that truly count on me. And when you're 18, 19 years old and you just like started a business and your mom's paying the bills, your dad's paying the bills, like I can see how like I feel like that question would depend on where you are at the moment. But to give generic advice or like for the general public, I would say figure out your cause because somewhere along your path, someone depends on you being successful. Like, for example, right? Like, imagine your mom or your dad or your grandma can't call you because it's like they're incapable of doing that, right? Believe it or not, those can be your initial people that count on you. So what gives me energy is understanding when I wake up and I don't want to go for that run, I don't want to make that cup of coffee, I don't want to make that sales call, I don't want to book that meeting, I don't want to take that flight. I just wake up and realize like, yo, people are counting on me, and and when I mean that, I actually like I count on myself. Like I took a big stand 2 years ago that no one's because like when the economy was going up, down, left, and right 2 years ago, I remember being dependent on a couple of different things. Not a lot, but I had my hands in a different holes that I was hoping things would happen. Things didn't happen the way it did, and I remember from that moment on, I said, I'll love you, but I'm not gonna trust you. Like I'll love you, but I will never ever like depend on you 100%. So for me, I really when I actually say those words like, "Hey, look, people depend on you," I really also mean myself because I don't know about you, as a woman it might be different, but as a man, no one wakes up and goes, how can I make Brandon's life better? Maybe my mom, my mom and my dad, if I need something, they'll
Yes.
probably be like,
We're spoiled,
probably,
so yeah.
yeah, exactly. We got beautiful parents. My dad, if he ever needs me, if I never need anything, my dad will go, okay, great, I'll pick you up. Like I remember being my battery being dead, and I'm like, I don't know where to go. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. I should have not been out. My mom told me after 9:30, nothing good happens, and I didn't listen. But I remember like just my dad. So I think the quicker you realize that, the quicker you realize how important it is to count on yourself. Because until you get that wife, until you get that husband, until you get someone that loves you unconditionally, no one wakes up and says those words. I haven't. I'm 25 years old and I haven't found it yet. Besides mom, dad, and really strong friends and family, but even my tight friends, even JP knows that like he's not gonna wake up and go, yeah, Brandon's gonna make my life better. I'm gonna try, but I'm gonna make myself a priority first. So that's what gives me the energy. That's what gets me up and running and getting everything on the move. It's under when I wake up, I'm telling you, it's like that number one question. No one's waking up right now and saying to themselves, how can I make Brandon the best person on earth? No one says it. So that was like the first step to energy.
I love
The
it.
second step for me to getting energy, which is so funny how God works. I mean, you don't have to be a Christian to believe in this. I found it through the Bible, though, and through a couple of mentors in my life, that the best way to get more energy and more motivation is to give it. And it's beautiful how the human being works. Like I love
Wow,
your
that's deep.
the podcast that you have, the Gem and Me. It's funny because you'll feel more energy the more Catherine just goes out there and gives more energy off. I remember like, I'll look at an average Tuesday or Wednesday and it's just packed from 10 a.m. to like 10 p.m. with drives, meetings, and all that stuff. But it's funny that the more tired I get and the more I give, the more energy I start receiving. It's a beautiful mix on how God really built us as human beings. So I think to be always energized,
Mm,
wake up and realize you're in control of your own life. You live in America. We don't have a dictator. This is not a socialist country. So you are
yes.
in charge of moving forward and doing whatever you need to do. And then to keep and maintain that energy, just give it all. If it means like calling your best friend or calling your friend and be like, yo, I want you to know you're beautiful inside and out. You're freaking amazing. For some odd reason, you feel better after saying those words to somebody else. It's a little bit weird, but I don't because it works every time. It's free. There's no annual membership to doing that. Just your cell phone bill needs to be paid. You can call somebody via FaceTime audio and be like, "You're amazing. You're great." Because that's what I've noticed after being slammed with meetings, sales calls, possible business partnerships that are happening. I realized that just the more you give, the more you get. So wake up every day and realize no one's gonna make your life better besides yourself. So don't make any more excuses. Again, if you live in third world, fourth world countries, then okay, I get it. There's a different battle there. But if you're here listening to the podcast, I don't think you're living in that severity. I think you're focused on water and having some type of shelter. But for the most part, just focus on yourself and give that energy off. Like I look at you, Catherine, and I'm like, she got it. Like you can tell. Like the more you give, the more like when you're tired and you call somebody or you're like, let me just hear your story so I can give you my input. It's kind of
Yeah,
weird. It works both ways and you get the energy back. So that's how I get energy and maintain energy. It's always just giving, 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 with no hopes of receiving, but it just happens automatically.
that's amazing. Thank you so much. It really is in synergy, like you mentioned, with Gem and me. And I feel like I told you, I mean, this is repetitive, but I feel your energy. And I feel like that's what connected us. And I was like, yeah, you have to be on the podcast.
100%,
um,
100%. I thank you for that.
yeah, of course. So I feel like you gave us a little toolkit, right? To like being an entrepreneurship and being successful, because do you consider yourself I mean, I know you have a lot to accomplish, but so far where you are, do you feel like you have reached
Yeah,
success?
such a tough
Whatever that means,
question.
right?
It's
Because it's different for everybody.
yeah. I would confidently say that I don't really kill myself in that aspect. I have this whole theory about luck and what is luck and how to receive luck and what is being lucky. Like, what does that actually mean? But if I look at my 25-year-old version of myself, I'm the happiest I can be. I love exactly where I'm at in my life, my business, my personal self, my relationship with God, my finances. I mean, everything in my life, I know, like you mentioned, could get better. And I would consider myself successful as of right now, but I do know like the level I want to be at. It's kind of like what you mentioned. You set the bar here. Once you
Mm-hmm.
get there, the bar gets a little higher and higher.
Yeah.
So I just pray every day that I can be successful and dominate that Monday or Tuesday so that the bar can get set a little higher. I don't believe in achieving success. I believe the day you are successful is probably the day that you're not going to be on planet Earth. I just believe in success being that you can help others achieve the same thing. So I know for a fact I can do that now, but I do see other levels of success for sure. But I would, yeah, the 18-year-old version of Brandon would look at me right now. He definitely wouldn't believe it because I was very shy in the beginning. I was very nervous, but I think
Um,
he would definitely be proud and he would definitely say, wow, you are successful, but you're definitely on track to know where you're going to be too.
that's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
For sure. Great question.
Okay, so the last question from me, what is one of your greatest fears?
The first thing that like it's so funny is time. We were just speaking about it when turning 30 or turning
Yes.
40, but I realized that the big switch that happened from 18-year-old version to Brandon to 25 is understanding that you don't have a lot of it. Time is literally at the essence because you could be the wealth, you could be making $200 an hour, you can be making $20 an hour, but you're still having only 24 hours in that day. And for me, time is my biggest fear, but also my biggest asset. And I'm not trying to sound like Ty Lopez or Grant Cardone, like, yeah, like, buy someone else's time and whatever. But until you learn how to value time, I don't think you're going to be successful. The reason I say that is because I spent more money and physical time myself investing into learning from other people's mistakes. This is really big because when I was 18, 19, even 20, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna build my business, I'm gonna build myself, and don't worry about that. But like, someone else out there on planet Earth is really, really good at what you need help on. Like, really, I'm talking like if you want to have the biggest podcast in the world, just listen to the person who has the biggest podcast in the world because like my relationship with my mentor changed when I was like 2021 because I realized how valuable time was. His business was doing over like $900,000. This is when I was like 18 and a half, turning 19. Um, Shamtiel has met them. Their names are Nick and Steph Nwoke. And at that time, their businesses were doing like right below a million, if not, they were right above $1 million a year in sales revenue. So not take home. And mind you, I'm being mentored and coached by them. They're guiding me. But until I valued how important time is because we don't get it back, I asked them the wrong questions the whole time until I turned 21 because I realized, look, I can either learn by myself, get cut, get bruised up, get into war, get out of war alive, hopefully, or I can take my money or my time and study someone else who's been through the same wars, the same trials, the same tribulations, learn from them, and I don't have to get a bruise on my skin. And until like so when you ask me what's your biggest fear, it's not a bad fear. It's just time is so important to me. I know I'm 20, I don't have a lot of it, but understand that someone else out there in the world has what you need. And if you have to pay them, so be it. If you can grab a cup of coffee and provide value to them some way so that you can minute it. Because once you find out what you want to achieve and want to have, your goal should be yes, focus on the work ethic to become successful, but look for somebody in your space that has done what you wanted to do. And if you can find that person, if they need $100 for the hour, or if they need $100 for 10 minutes, understand that they've been through something that you're about to go through. You're gonna get bruised up. I don't want to get bruised up, right? Like health insurance is very expensive right now. I don't want to go to So like,
Agreed.
I guess this is like a business thing, but also a life thing. Is that once you value time, you'll understand how valuable someone else's time and experience is. If you want to learn how to be the best salesperson, how to market, how to communicate, learn from the best because they've done mistakes. They weren't born the best. So if you can take their 10 years and squeeze it into 30 seconds, you just saved yourself 9 to 10 years of headaches and burns and just terrible things happening to you. And that's when my mentor and I's relationship changed completely because my questions weren't about like, what keeps you motivated, right? And like those are important questions that I had to ask in the beginning. But my questions now is like, how do you maintain and build a team? How do you grow and expand your revenue? How do you manage your time? Like little things like that, because clearly they've been through, and I'm very fortunate to have my mentors, Nick and Steph, shameless plug, they're at nick.nwoke. But time is just my biggest fear because I don't want to waste it, right? I just don't want to waste it. I want to give it, which means I can't waste it. I have to preserve it as much so I can give more of it. But for me, that's my biggest fear is time. And if you, I'm telling you, I keep repeating it because success is just mastering the basics. and keeping life very simple, just figure out who's in the space. If you want to, like I tell Shantia, if you want to be the best dancer on planet Earth, just figure out who the best. And I can promise you, they'll do things you probably have never heard of before, right? But if you once you fear time, you're gonna love time, and you'll appreciate when someone gives you advice. It's kind of like, I hate to say this because I used to be one of these people that's kind of like, Argh. But like, you ever hear the quote, "Listen to your elders,"
Yes.
right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
for Hispanics, it's like the biggest thing. But like, listen to older people, like it's absolutely true. Like they've been through something. They're gonna, now, of course, they're not gonna teach you everything. They'll teach you what they are masters in or they're specifically good in. But listen to your elders. Listen to people who've been there and done that, right? Even if they're older than you, they're typically going to be older than you, depending on the industry you're in. But pay attention to the people who've been there and done that, and they'll teach you a couple of things. That's going to save you time. Because if you fear time, you'll understand how important it is to save time, and by learning from other people's experiences. I feel like that took a weird turn. My biggest fear is absolutely time.
Time.
I appreciate it so much.
Thank you. And what is the last question? I promise. I have so much to ask,
Yeah,
but
for sure, for
this
sure.
is the last question. So, what is the greatest piece of advice somebody has given you?
Dang, that's a deep one. Deep one. The biggest piece of advice that I can think of right now that's been given to me. Bet on yourself. That's probably it. My mentor Nick has said that since I've met him, and I've only listened to him, like actually paid attention. But no, like we're so easy to invest into real estate, which again, if you have the income and the capabilities, invest into it. You have there's Airbnbs, and you can flip cars, you can flip couches, and you can bet. You can, like, for me, I was a big stock market person, like the S&P 500 and the stock market, or what's Facebook at, where's Meta at, and like I realized that like we're so easy to throw money at these other companies, at these other stocks that are run by humans that you probably have never met yet, but we're so hesitant to throw the money at ourselves and to bet on ourselves to succeed. But it's so easy to bet that, like, Caterpillar, the construction based company that makes tools and hardware, is going to jump up 11% next year. Like, what about yourself? Can you invest into yourself so that you make a return of 11%? Like, again, nothing wrong with investing into real estate, but I'll tell you right now, the moment my life changed is when someone told me, my dad and my mentor, Nick, has always said, invest into yourself. It's the biggest investment you can make. The average, so in case people are listening to this last part, is the average return on investment for every dollar you invest into yourself within the next 6+ months, you should be seeing $10 in return. That's over 1,000% return on your money year by year. There's not one stock, there's not one opportunity out there that can give you those returns besides investing into yourself. Like, for example, I know that you told me you have a couple books. I know today's Inspire Young Latina Volume 2, and Hispanic Star Rising, The New Face of Power. Think about that, right? So if you are a person that's in that realm, by buying that book, you're saving your time from, I'm guessing, all the traumas you were able to solve. Because think about it. If Catherine's been there, she's 27, and I'm 20 years old, I'm 18 years old, I'm 19 years old, I'm 25 years old, and I still haven't overcome this. Like, guys, you're listening to a woman who has been able to overcome it and is still overcoming it and has written 2 books about it. You might not be able to sit down with Catherine, but you're able to read things that she's been able to put on paper that you could learn from. Like, your mentors don't have to be in person. Your mentors can be YouTube videos. Your mentors could be podcasts. Your mentors could be books. So that's my biggest piece of advice: is bet on yourself. So, like, buying those 2 books that Catherine wrote, like, she put a lot of heart and hustle into that. It's definitely worth every penny. I mean, where else are you going to throw the money? At the club? I mean, I know New Year's was a couple of days ago, so I know people dropped way more than $30 on water, or things that they were drinking like water. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. Any
No
final
problem.
remarks you want to share with our listeners?
Catherine is the best. She literally pushed me to book this. I told her from the beginning. The only podcast I've been on where we're primarily focused on business. No one cares if I cure cancer. No one cared if I benched 185, but Catherine does care. So no, I have no announcements besides thanking you so much for pushing me to the limits, even though it's the new year. So I already marked something off my bucket list. getting on a
Yeah.
podcast talking about my life. But yeah, Catherine, anything you need or anyone that's listening, if you need any piece of advice, I'm not going to promise you I'm going to respond, but shoot me a DM, shoot me an email, and I'm always here to help. I have nothing to market you. I'm not going to sell your information or sell your email to big companies. But if you generally need help or any piece of advice, if I do specialize in it, because I'm very honest, if I don't specialize in that area of life, I'm not going to help you. I feel like I'm the wrong person. But if I could help you in some way, somehow, if it's involving business, if it's involving sales, if it's involving growing a team, leading a team, I can definitely help in those areas. But anything outside of that, you're better off finding it. But if anyone listening to this needs help in those areas, developing themselves, self-development, business, sales, marketing, building a team, leading a team, just shoot me a DM or an email, and I'd love to help. That's what I specialize in for sure.
Thank you so much. Where can I find you?
My Instagram handle is at Brandon Cancio, BRANDNCANCIO. And my email is my first name at gmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandon, for being here again. I'm so happy you took the leap and we're here. And I'm pretty sure there's going to be a part two. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Catherine. Honestly.
Bye, guys. Thank
God
you. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I am so grateful that you're here listening to my podcast, Gem and Me. I hope that you continue to share, continue to listen on very important topics that I discuss in my growth and journey to what is called life. I hope that you're able to learn and explore different values and things that you have within you. I really hope to serve as a support system and a community to those who need that inspiration in that community, because I know that I needed this, I still do, but like growing up, I felt like I needed something where I can, see the examples and have a support system. So I hope to serve as such. Thank you for listening and have a great one.